Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. So my name is Sandra Iheanacho. So welcome to today's webinar. It's glad to have each and every one of you here with us on this call. And we'll go right away because it's not our first webinar. So this is a training transfer effectiveness webinar series, the free webinar series. We started since January 30 this year, January 30, 2025. And so we will just go straight in. Without much ado. Okay. So the training transfer effectiveness journey continues. So for those of us that have joined us since January 30, when we started, for you the journey continues. Then if you're joining us for the first time, please feel free to just let us know you're joining us for the first time and let us hail you and welcome you, right? And so if you're joining us for the first time, the journey begins for you today. However, if you want to keep track of, because it's a continuity, so it's a webinar we start, so we are building on everything we've been learning together. So we are building on that. So we started and with the needs validation process, and we are building on it. So if you want to catch up, you want to look at, watch or listen on what we've done since January 30, just go to our YouTube channel and watch the videos. So Samson, if you don't mind, please drop in the chat box our YouTube channel. Just go there and you'll be able to catch up with what we're doing. So for those joining us today, your journey begins today. And today, what are we looking at? We are looking at the 5 critical organizational factors that impact performance. So we started the journey talking about how do we defined what training effectiveness was, we defined what training transfer was, defined what training transfer effectiveness was. So we were able to define all that. And we won't be able to do that because our webinar is just for 45 minutes with question and answer. So we won't be able to do that. So if you don't mind, please go to our YouTube channel and watch that. Now, we just rounded up on the needs validation process. Now, the needs validation process, it is the very first critical step you take before training. What does it mean? It means that if your employees come to you, or people come to you as the L&D or the HR for training needs, they come to you that they want to send their staff on this training, on time management, on leadership. You don't just look for a training to send them, organize an in-house training for them. The first thing you do is the need validation process, which we came about as an organization, is to determine, is training really the solution to this performance issue they are talking about? And so when you go through the videos, you will watch what it is. Now, before we've assumed that we've gone through that process and training is really the issue. And so we will take you through the process, step by step through the process. Now, before doing that, it is very critical for us to understand that for there to be training effectiveness, for there to be an impact, for there to be a performance impact, there are 5 critical factors as a business, as an organization, you must look at. And those 5 critical factors are what we want to look at in today's webinar. We will not finish it. Yes. So we're going to be building on it. And so those are the 5 critical factors we will be looking at today. Welcome again. So glad you are here. Thank you. I think I see something. Elizabeth, good evening. I'm joining for the first time. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Welcome. Let us give you, where's my... Something, please, can you welcome her with our emoticons of welcome. Welcome, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, welcome. We are glad to have you here. And Samson has already told you, we are glad to have you here. Okay, so let's move ahead. So welcome. So glad you're all here. The introductions have already started. I can see in the chat box, people are already introducing themselves. Please feel free to keep introducing yourself. Tell us where you're joining in from, your role, what role are you performing in your organization? Are you an entrepreneur, or what role exactly are you performing in your organization? To be good to hear from you. Okay, this is a bit about me. I'm not going to talk about it because I've already spoken about this before. So this is just a bit about me. And I am glad to be your facilitator today. Great. You will agree with me that training transfer does not happen in isolation. It is influenced by several organizational factors that determine whether employees successfully apply what they learn. Now, let me ask, remember that this webinar, for those that have been attending this webinar is an interactive webinar. It's supposed to be an interactive webinar, not just me talking. So I want to ask, so I'm saying that training, and it's not just to me, it is what it is. It is the theory, it is the practice, that training transfer does not happen in isolation. It is influenced by some organizational factors that determine whether employees successfully apply what they learn. Do you have an idea what those organizational factors are? Do you want to type into chat? What do you think those organizational factors are? What do you think those organizational factors are? You can guess. Just take a guess. This is part of trying to make it interactive. What do you think those organizational factors are? Okay. Nothing in chat. Go in. Okay, go on. Let me see that maybe you do not know, and it's okay if you do not know. That's why you are here today, and I will let you know. Now, without the right support structures, workplace conditions, and leadership involvement, even the most well-designed training will fail. In quote, in capital letter, will fail. It will fail to drive the measurable performance improvement. I see something in chat box now. Let me see, what is that? So Adedeji says relatedness to task. Okay, relatedness to task. Okay, yes. It has a name for it. So relatedness to task has a name for it. It is what we call the process. So we'll talk about this, what we call the process. Thank you so much for trying, Adedeji. So without the right support structures, without the right workplace conditions, which a very good friend of mine, Arosa, calls it's called the positive experience officer. It talks about the positive experience in the organization, right? So without the right workplace conditions and leadership involvement, no matter how beautiful you design that training, how well designed it is, the training will fail to measure performance improvement. And so there's a need to have these 5 critical factors I'm going to talk about in place. And let's go ahead and see what it is. And so that is what I call the critical success factors. The critical success factors that will help training to be measurable. And what are they? Now let's look at them one by one. The first one is the employee. The first one is what? The employee. Now, you need to ensure that your employees are ready for training. Sometimes organizations send employees for training and they are not ready for it. Mentally, physically, emotionally. So you need to ensure that your employees are ready for training. Not just ready for training, you need to ensure that they are motivated to be able to, and when I say motivate, I don't like using the word motivate people. People have to motivate themselves. But what I say is create the enabling environment for people to motivate themselves, right? So ensure these employees are motivated to attend that training. And not just only that, ensure that they are capable of applying whatever they are going to learn. Because we find out that employees are sent on training. They are not ready for that training. They just go there and pass time. They just go there to fulfill all righteousness. Secondly, we have also found out that they don't feel motivated. Why should I even go for this training? How is this going to even help me in my life? How can this also help me in my journey, my plans, my aspiration? This is different from what I have, my target, my plans are. Then we also have found out that the condition for the employee to apply what they've learned when they come back from training, it's not there. don't have the tools, they don't have the enabling environment, they don't have the support, they don't have the know-how even to apply what they're going to learn. So, and that's one of the critical organization factors that impact performance is the employee, which we must take note of. The next thing is the process, which was what Adeoti was trying to talk about. He talked about the relatedness to tax, what he was trying to talk about. Now, what does the process mean? The process is saying, how do you align workflows, procedures, and systems to drive performance? You send people on training, they come back, there's no process flow to help them to put in what they've learned. There's no process flow. There's no procedures, no systems in place. How do you want them to apply what they've learned? So it's very important to look at all this. It's very, very critical. What is the process in place? Are you able to align the workflows so that whatever it is they're learning, when they come back, the workflows will allow them, will enable them to apply their learning? The procedures you have as a business, the systems in place as a business, is it enabling performance? Is it driving performance? Most times it doesn't. And so if your process is not driving performance, your workflows, your procedures, the systems in place, that training, application of that training is dead on arrival. Nothing will happen. Now, the third thing is the line manager, the almighty line manager. Yes, the almighty line manager. We've through research and practice, we found out that there's something we call the science and art of training transfer effectiveness. That is something we came up as a business. Now, the science of training transfer effectiveness lies in the hands of the learning and development officers, manager, lies in the hands of the HR professionals. And what does the science mean? The science has to do with the models, the methodologies. That's what the science is. Now, the art of the training transfer effectiveness lies in the hands of the line managers, because they are the gods, in quotes. They are the ones that would make either they make or mar that training, because they are the ones that create the climate for that training to be applied. They are the ones that create the climate for that employee to apply what they've learned. They are the ones that create the support, that keep the support. So if the line managers do not create an enabling environment, they do not encourage learning application, they do not follow through, no support, no continuous growth for the employees, learning, training, learning will not be applied. The knowledge and the skills garnered from training will not be applied. To be dead on arrival. So we are discussing, for those just joining in, welcome. We are discussing the 5 critical organizational factors that impact performance, that as L&D professionals, as HR professionals, even as line managers, in case we have line managers here, that you must take note of, you must work on. Now, the 4th one is what we call the workplace. The workplace. What does the workplace mean? When we say the workplace, what do we mean? Now, have you been in a situation whereby you've been sent on training, or you yourself, you've sent people on training, and they come back, they don't even have the tools to apply what they've learned? You know, it's as if they went for training, they gave them, you do this, do this, use Excel, use this, and they come back, no Excel even for them to practice. No Power BI that has been put in their system for them to use. They don't have the tools. They don't have the resources. How would they now apply what they've learned? Even apart from that, the culture, there's no culture that supports learning. We'll talk about that as we move ahead. It's very critical to have a learning, to be a learning an organization. I don't know if your organization is a learning organization. A learning organization is an organization that supports learning. It's dynamic, it's flexible, it keeps ensuring its employees keep learning. So are you a learning organization? That's a story for another day. So when we talk about the workplace, we are looking at what are the resources, what are the tools, Does the culture support learning? Does the culture support training? Or does the culture resist learning and resist training? Now, the last but not the least is the trainer. Now, when we are talking about the trainer, now we are talking about not just the external trainer whom you bring into the organization to help to train your employees. We are talking about both the internal trainers and the external trainers. Now, for the trainers, we are saying to the trainers, please, beyond content, you must design training with learning experience at the back of, no, not at the back of in the front burner. That should be your front burner. And the learning experience should be able to bridge the gap between what? The knowledge, the skills, and the real world application. If the learning experience you design cannot bridge the gap between knowledge, skills, and real world application, that training is dead on arrival. So are you a trainer in the organization, you're the training coordinator, or you're a faculty admin in essence? It means that they are able to craft training that is engaging, training that is context driven based on the problem, training that is aligned with the workplace realities. I see people going for designing training that has nothing to do with the workplace realities. No, it's a no. Draft design training that has to align with the workplace realities and ensure that what is taught doesn't just stay in the classroom. Yes, let it translate into measurable performance improvement. And so those are the 5 critical factors which we'll be looking at as we continue this series. That's what we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at it. So what we're going to be doing just today is we're going to be looking at the employee. That's what we'll be looking at today, the employee. And now for the employee, you agree with me that employees are the primary agents of training transfer effectiveness. True or false? Please type into chat. Let me wait for you to type into chat. Let me look at the chat box. True. Adedeji says true. Thank you so much, Adedeji. Yes. So let's continue. They are the primary agents of training transfer effectiveness. And since they are the primary agent of training transfer effectiveness, it's very important that you note the key factors that will influence their transfer of learning to their workplace. So we are going to be looking at the 3 key factors that influence how effectively they transfer learning to the workplace. The first thing we are going to be looking at is what we call readiness for training. Readiness for training. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if they are ready for training? Readiness for training. Why does it matter? And just like I said earlier on, you need to ensure that your employees are mentally prepared for training. They have the right mindset. They are ready and open to learning. And they have an understanding of why the training matters. Why am I being sent on this training? The HR, they've come again. My line manager have come again. They are saying, why am I being sent on this training? Why? So you must ensure that your employee, they are ready for the training. It's very, very key. So you should be able to tick a box. Are they ready? Yes. Are they not ready? No. You should be able to know that. Are they ready for the training that you want to send them on? And what are the critical questions that will guide you in knowing if they are ready? 1, do employees understand why they are attending the training? A lot of employees, they don't even understand why they are going for the training you're sending them on. The second question is, have they been informed about how the training relates to their role and performance? A lot of organizations don't do this. They don't even have time for this. They just say, go, HR, send them on training. That's the story. HR, send them on training. They don't even care. Then the third thing is, are they in the right frame of mind to absorb and apply the new knowledge? Is there anybody, let me ask now, do you see these questions? Have you faced this kind of challenge in your organization with the questions I'm bringing up now? Have you faced something like that in your business? Is there anybody that wants to share in chat? Don't forget I said this is a webinar that is supposed to be interactive, not just me speaking. Okay, while I wait for people to share that, I've not seen why I wait for people to share that. Let us just continue. Now, the next thing we are going to look at are the employees. How do you ensure the readiness? How do you ensure that employees are ready? How do you ensure that they are ready? How? That's what we're going to be looking at now. How do we ensure that they are ready? The first way to ensure that they are ready is pre-training briefs. Explain the training objectives and benefits to employees before they attend. Do you even do that? How many people do that? How many people are able to explain to employees that these are the training objectives and this is the benefit for you to attend this training? The next thing is expectation setting. Do you ensure that employees know that their performance will be evaluated post-training? Or is this just a good to have? Let's just all go there. The third thing is pre-training self-assessment. Do you help employees identify their own skill gaps and their learning needs? Are these things you do? So these are questions you should be thinking about as we continue. These are questions you should be looking at, considering. The second thing we look at is motivation to apply learning. And what is motivation talking about? An employee's motivation to apply what they have learned determines whether they actively seek opportunities to use that new skill or knowledge or revert to their old habits. Do you motivate employees to apply what they are going to learn? Because as a business, as an organization, do you do it? If you do, what do you do? Type into chat, what exactly do you do to motivate employees to learn, to actively seek opportunities to use the skills or the knowledge you're going to learn? And I am saying that training transfer is more successful when employees are see their personal value in applying their learning. They see the value. They see it. What is it in for me? The wifing principle. Why is this? Am I sent on this training? What is it in for me? What am I gaining from this training I'm going on? And now we're going to look at some critical questions that will help you to apply this motivation, to help them to apply the motivation to learn. Now, what are the critical factors? 1, does the training align with the employee's personal career growth? Or you're just sending them on training for sending sake? Is he applying? Do you even know what their personal career growth is? A lot of line managers, as a result of consulting, even in the training session, they say, Madam, we don't care. They should just go for that training. What's my business with their career growth? Or some even say, what if their career growth is not in line with what we want as a business? So they don't even care. Is that what you're doing? And if employees feel that the training you're sending them to is not aligned to their personal career growth, they will tick the box with you. Another question you should ask yourself is, will applying the new skills make their job easier and more rewarding? And last but not the least question you ask is, are employees recognized or are they incentivized for applying what they learn? Are they recognized for what they went for training, they came back, they are recognized for applying what they've learned? Are they incentivized for even applying what they learn? Now how can you increase motivation? 1, link training to career development. I've already talked about that. Show employees how applying their learning can lead to promotions or even performance reviews. Let the manager, as a line manager, please reinforce their learning. How do they do the pre-training actions and even the post-training actions? How do your pre-training actions and post-training actions support their learning? And last but not the least, recognition and rewards. Celebrate employees who successfully implement training insights. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. As we continue. Now, the third thing we look at under the employees, their ability to apply the learning. what the ability to apply the learning. Why does this matter? Ensure that your employees have the opportunity and the support to apply whatever they're going to learn from that training. Most times they attend training, they come back, they lack the time to apply it, they lack the tools, they lack the support. Then how can they apply what they are learning? No time, not enough time. They are so bombarded with other things they are doing, no tools, no support. How can they apply the new skills and the new knowledge they've learned in the training? So these are the critical questions to ask. Do your employees have the opportunity to practice their new skills on the job? Do they have opportunity to practice the new knowledge on the job? Are they giving guidance? Are they mentored to reinforce their learning? Are there barriers preventing them from applying what they've learned? These are the critical questions you should be asking yourself in line with ensuring that employees apply what they learn. They have the ability to apply what they learn. How do you ensure application? How do you ensure application? Give employees real-world tasks to apply new skills. Real-world, what they've learned in the training, they come back to the business, to the organization. They are applying that thing. So it is practical. What they've learned there, they're applying it. It's practical. Let them apply what they've learned. Support them. Checklists, templates, job aids. Support them to ensure that the application is easier and smooth. Then coach them, follow up on them, assign them even peers that can, accountability people and peers that can monitor what they are doing, that can be like their checkmating what they've learned to ensure that they're applying what they've learned. Do not set them up for failure, please. Create opportunities for them to succeed. Do not set them up for failure. That is what a lot of organizations do. They set up their employees for failures. We're going to have just a quick case study. And the case study is why training is not enough. It's not enough, the role of the employee in training transfer. And I'm going to share with you an organization. They are called it's called the Telnet Corporation. They're a leading customer service company. So recently they conducted a customer excellence training for their frontline employees to improve their service quality and reduce the complaints. Now the training was well structured, very interactive, delivered by an expert, a subject matter expert. However, 3 months down the line, customer complaints remained very, very high. There was no improvement in the service ratings. Now, you are the L&D professional at Telnet Corporation. What went wrong? Over to you, participants. What went wrong, attendees? Please feel free to unmute your microphone and share, or even show you the emoticon of raising up your hands. What went wrong? Who is ready to help us? What went wrong? What went wrong? Is there anybody that wants to share? Do you want to type into chat, or do you want to mute your microphone? The training was awesome. Interactive, gamifications, case studies, activities delivered by an SME, subject matter expert. However, 3 months down the line, customer complaints continued to rise, was on the high side. There was no noticeable change, no improvement in their service rating. Their service rating was still low. You are the L&D professional. What went wrong? Is there anybody that wants to try? What went wrong? Okay, let me move on since nobody wants to try. Let me try for myself. What went wrong? This was what went. Okay, Titi. Thank you so much, Titi. Thank you. Please unmute your microphone and help us out.
Oh my goodness. Good evening, everyone.
Sorry. Good evening, Titi.
Okay. I think that scenario is a tool in organization, and first, in fact, the last 2 slides you presented is really the major reason why this has happened. Obviously, at some point, maybe understanding of the rule or even the training that you're going for, the objective of the training is not there right from day one. It's just, I don't want to go deep into it, but honestly, you've answered the question. So, sorry, let me just see the last something that you put on that. Okay, how 3 months later, the customer, okay, of course, there hasn't been any. So obviously, there's a problem with the objective, understand the objective of the training. The participants obviously were not clear on what the objectives are. The pre-training evaluation wasn't properly done. Okay, they've gone for the training, so what next? Nothing has been done. There hasn't been after. What was the last slide you presented now? Yeah, just a lot around there.
Thank you so much, Titi. I don't know if Samson sent my slides to you.
I don't want to go.
Did Samson send my slides to you? You're right on point. Right on point on what went wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Please, if there's anybody that wants to share, please feel free to share. And see what I said. As the L&D person overseeing this initiative, it is you that you're the one overseeing this initiative. You begin investigating why the training did not lead to measurable improvement. Why? Now, these are the questions. What Titi just said are the questions you asked yourself. Were employees truly ready for the training? Which was what Titi was saying. Did they even understand the training objectives? Were they truly ready for the training? Did they understand why they were being trained and how it will help them? Did they? And you're sending them on training. Did they even have the motivation? Okay, before I continue, I can say Adedeji. Adedeji, please unmute your microphone.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Like the Titilola said, I think there are a lot of questions, right? But it's also noteworthy to mention that a lot of times a training ends at the training center, right? Or during the training. A lot of times there's no support. So in this case, it's possible there's no support being given to the customer experience persons in that organization to make sure that they are applying it. And if they are experiencing a sort of challenge or the need to go back to the training material or to visit the case study again, there's nothing as such. Maybe that could be the cause.
Thank you so much. You're right on point too. And before we leave this webinar today, we are going to agree on what's the way forward for us. So these are the questions as an L&D you're asking yourself. Did they understand why they were trained and how it will help them? Did they understand that? Did they have the motivation to apply what they learned? Or what they've sent us on training again? I beg you, what will this one do for me? Every time they send on training, nothing. I see Elizabeth's hand up. Elizabeth, over to you, please.
All right. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening, Elizabeth.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the process. Did I give them? Does the company have a process? You mentioned process amongst the TV. So, do they have a process that welcomes what like you send people for training? A process that welcomes the new knowledge, where the what you've learned can be put in place in the company. Do they have a process? Maybe that's why they went for that training and there was no impact in the company. And then the people you are sending for training, were they really prepared or ready for that training? You know how you send people for training and you don't get.
It seems Elizabeth village people have come again. Elizabeth, we're not hearing you again.
Yeah, opinions. You don't feel like Africa. I think I don't work with them.
Sending that person for training. All of these things are things that I feel like are less. That can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hello, Elizabeth. We can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, Elizabeth. We can hear you.
We can hear you, Elizabeth.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Samson, just type into chat to her that we can hear her. So let me continue. So on point, Titi on point, Adeola on point, Adedeji, you're on point, and Elizabeth, all three of you are on point. Did they have the motivation to apply what they
I feel like that makes me why.
You can continue, Elizabeth. Yes, please continue. Okay, we can't hear her.
I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me, but it seems like I've lost.
We can hear you now. Okay. So sorry, Elizabeth.
Hello, Sandra. I think that's basically the reason for all of that. That's my own opinion.
Thank you so much. You're on point, Elizabeth. Really on point. Thank you so much. And so why we are there barriers preventing them from using the new skills in their work. That's another thing we look at. Were there barriers preventing them from using the new skills in their daily work? Those are the questions as the L&D or HR you should be responding to. Those are the questions. Now, what went wrong in this case study? That is what Elizabeth has responded to, Titi has responded to, and Adedeji has responded to. Now, what could Telnet Cooperative have done differently to ensure training transfer effectiveness? This is what you've all responded to. Which strategies would you implement to improve employee readiness, motivation, and learning application? I think this is, you've all spoken about on this, just on point. I want us to know, where are we going from here now? Where are we going from with this case study? So this was what the L&D did. They had to go do an internal review, and this was what it revealed. It revealed that the employee were not ready. Some of them felt that I've gone for customer service practice training before. Why are you sending me again? And I know how to do customer service. They felt there's no motivation. What this thing I'm going to apply now? How does it help me? There's some people say, how can this help me? How does it help me? And they had so much workload, and so because of the workload, they may let's for these new skills. It's very difficult. Let's just revert to old habits, and they reverted to old habits and stopped practicing the new skills. Now, my question to you people is, what would you have done differently before the training? I want you to think about it because you've responded on it. How would you ensure employees were truly ready and motivated to apply their learning? Then last but not the least, which strategies would you implement to improve training transfer effectiveness at Telnet Corporation? So for those that'll be watching this on our YouTube channel, I need you to reflect on these questions. What would you have done differently before the training? How would you ensure employees were truly ready and motivated to apply whatever they're going to learn when they come back from their training? What strategies would you implement to improve training transfer effectiveness at Telnet Corporation? What are the next steps? Now, this is for you, each one of you on this call, and those that'll be watching the video. I want you to think about a recent training in your organization where your employees truly ready. Were they motivated? Were they supported to apply what they learned? Think about it. A training that happened last year, last 2 years, based on what we are talking about now. Were they ready? Were they motivated to learn? And were they supported to apply what they learned? Then ask yourself this question. What changes would you make moving forward? What changes would you make moving forward? That's a question for you to answer. And to wrap up this webinar and our case study, I'm saying, just like what Adedeji has said, what Elizabeth has said, what Titi has said, training alone doesn't guarantee performance improvement. Bonkwe. Training alone doesn't guarantee performance improvement. Your employees must be ready, they must be motivated, and they must be given opportunities to apply learning. I will take that again. Your employees must be ready, they must be motivated, and they must be given opportunities to apply the learning. Do you do any of this? Which one do you not do? And last but not the third thing, effective training transfer starts even before training begins, not after. Effective training transfer starts even before training begins, not after. A lot of organizations, a lot of L&D professionals, a lot of HR professionals, they start training transfer after the training. Foul. It starts even before training begins. So as an organization, you must ensure that you actively remove barriers, any barrier that will prevent your employees from using what they learned. And in ensuring that you remove those barriers is starting even before the training in your design. These are things we'll be looking at as we go ahead. So on this note, I'm saying training doesn't change behavior. Employees do. I hope you know that. I hope you know that training doesn't change behavior. Employees do. Their readiness, their motivation, and opportunity to apply learning determine whether your training will succeed or whether your training will fail. This is a quote by myself, Sandra the Oracle. I call myself the Training Transfer Effectiveness Advocate. This is what we usually do. Your next line of action plan, because we are wrapping up the webinar now. We are wrapping up. What is your next line of action from what you've learned? From those that just joined us again, we try not to wait. We give just 5 minutes and we shoot immediately after 5 minutes. We're looking at the 5 critical factors, organizational factors that impact performance. And we listed the 5 factors. However, today we're looking at employee. Next week, we'll be looking at the process. Now, from everything we've discussed and we've spoken about today, what will be your next line of action? Please type into chat or feel free to unmute your microphone to share with us. What will be your next line of action as a result of what you've gotten from today's webinar? While I wait for people to come up with their next line of action, what are the questions you may have at this point in time? What are the questions you may have at this point in time? Please still feel free to note your next line of actions, please. What are the questions you may have at this point in time? What are the questions you may have at this point in time? Don't tell me you don't have any question. If not, I will ask my question. What are the questions? If there are no questions, what would you do differently with respect to training? With respect to looking at the employee as one of the critical factors to ensure that there is training transfer effectiveness for every training that you send your employees to, what will you do differently? Elizabeth, please. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. You can unmute your microphone, Elizabeth. Your microphone is still muted. Great.
Okay, so for me, what I would do differently, I know that we L&D professionals or we L&D practitioners, we do things thinking that we are doing the right way. But I noticed from this class that we were actually doing things the wrong way. So for me, my point is that I would always reach out to employees, I kind of a survey to get their training needs, what they feel like they would like to be trained on as it adds value to the company or how it can enhance productivity. Not just send them for training now because you want to send them for training to make them feel good. Sometimes you feel like sending the training to eat free food. They that leaving the office and going out, they even say, I make I go enjoy company money more. That's always the mindset. Instead of actually sending them for what to bring value to them. So I feel like we should engage them and get their point of view. Sometimes it may even be trainings that are not related to their key roles. Some of them may even want to change their career path, like, oh, maybe I've been doing this for a certain period of time, I want to change. And because they've not been given opportunity based on maybe micromanaging or the fact that you feel like you don't want to release that staff from your department, they become redundant. They don't give in their best in where they are, and they're even reluctant to want to go for trainings in areas that they feel like they're interested in. So for me, right now, I feel like engaging them is very important. Instead of wasting resources, sending people for training that will not add value to them, engage them and find out what will add value to them and to the company. Very important. And then try to come up with processes that will help to support them, that after they've learned, we can incorporate it in our day-to-day activities to also enhance productivity. And then for the trainers, we also, I don't know if I'm going a bit further than what you expect.
No, just go ahead. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying listening to you.
Thank you. And then for the trainers, I feel like you engage them and tell them that this is what our employees want. Don't just give them what we have. Ensure that you give them the best, whether internal or external faculty. You have to go self-develop yourself, be current. Don't just be doing garbage in, garbage out because we have already hired you as our internal or external faculty. You have to be current with what is trending, what is obtainable in the business. Something that when our staff are being trained by you, you are adding great value to them and not them going there and feeling like, this same person again, what does he have to say? So we have to also engage our trainers to ensure that they are up to date, current, to give us the best, because we value our staff and we want the best for them. So that's my own take on.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We are giving you a clap. Thank you so much. You have just gone even way and beyond. Thank you so much for the what you've gotten and what you start doing differently. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there any other person that has any question or any contribution? We are already wrapping up. For those just joining us, so sorry, but you can always watch the Samson, please put up our YouTube channel again. You can go to the YouTube channel to watch it. So sorry if you joined us late. Okay, if there are no more questions, I want to take an announcement. We are pleased to bring to your notice, as an organization, we are doing we have a conference coming up November 13 and 14 in Lagos Oriental Hotel in Lagos, Nigeria. It is the first of its kind. It is the premier conference. It is the world's first training transfer effectiveness conference. Yay! It has never happened in Nigeria. It has never happened in Africa. It has never happened in the world. No organization, no business, nobody has come up with a conference mainly on training transfer effectiveness. So we are bringing together line managers, business leaders, COOs, CEOs, HR practitioners, L&D practitioners, trainers. They are coming together, researchers in one place in Lagos Oriental Hotel, and we are coming to now deal with that elephant in the room. How can we show return on investment and return expectations for all your training engagement? And so go to our website. Samson is going to put the website. Go and view our website and ensure that you don't miss this conference. These are some of our speakers. We have over 22 speakers from across the globe that will be here that will be coming in for the training. For the conference. So we have Melanie Martinelli. She's the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the Institute for Training Transfer Effectiveness in Austria. She's coming all the way from Switzerland. We have Tom Mera. He's coming all the way from Chicago. We have Anna Langita. She's coming all the way from Germany. So we have over 20. These are just some of them. We have over 22 world-class practitioners, learners, training transfer advocates, HR practitioners that are coming in. And we also have our own people that are in Nigeria that will be coming. So please ensure that you do not miss this conference. And these are what we'll be doing. It's a 2-day hands-on conference with industry experts across the globe, expert-led sessions, networking opportunities, coffee breaks and meals. We'll be unveiling our book, From Training to Transformation. And for those that will be attending, there are exclusive discounts on the international certifications for you, like the Certified Transfer Designer, which I'm the first in Nigeria. I'm also the Transfer Enabler for Africa by the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. There's a huge discount for you. For those that want to be certified by the Kirkpatrick Bronze Certification, which works on evaluation, there's a discount. For those that want to be certified by this Center for Accelerated Learning for Accelerated Learning Certification Workshop, is going to be a discount. And for those that want to be certified by the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, and the Learning Performance Institute, there's a huge discount for you. So please do not miss this conference. Go on the website, check the conference, and register. Tell one person, tell other people. It's a conference not to miss at all. And on this note again, what are your next line of action as a result of what you've learned in today's webinar? In conclusion, I would say old ways won't open new doors. You can see the new doors, the new ways Elizabeth shared with us that she's going to be doing things differently. Old ways won't open new doors. And we always say, and I always say, success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is yours now. What will it be? And on this note, I want to say, finally, be happy and feel good about yourself always. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. And I remain Coach Sandra Iheanacho, aka The Oracle, the Training Transfer Effectiveness Advocate. That's my LinkedIn, that's my Instagram, and my X, and that's my email address. Follow me on LinkedIn. I started a series on Training Transfer Effectiveness series since last year, September. You will get enough resources there. So on this note, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We hope to see you same time next week. Please join on time. We don't waste time. At 7:30 on the dot, 7 p.m. on the dot, we give like 5 minutes. After that, we go straight on. For those that do not join on time, so sorry about it. Go to our YouTube channel and watch. Please feel free to send us emails, send me a message. What are the things you want to learn, you want to see? However, we are following the process. We started on needs validation process. Now we are looking at the 5 critical factors. Then we'll look at the pre-training, during training, post-training. We'll look at the evaluation. How do you evaluate? How do you measure? How do you evaluate? So all those things, we're going to be looking at it in this webinar. So do not miss any webinar. No Thursday. Do not miss any Thursday. And encourage other people too also join in. And on this note, from me, Lagos, Nigeria, I say good night wherever you're joining in. From Kenya, Asante. From Uganda, Asante. Have a beautiful night rest and do enjoy your night rest. And see you next week, Thursday again. Thank you. Good night, everyone.